Good morning, everyone. All right, happy spring break. If you know me, I don't like it cold. And I could pin this on me, but I don't know, I feel like holding it. Okay, so I'm just going to hold my mic. So I'm here in Pennsylvania at spring break, and I wanted to do these online videos since the studio, the space is closed for the week, but you guys can take part in the video. Yesterday I uploaded the video on Earth, so we're going in order, and we're talking about air today. All right, so we're talking about it as it relates to yoga, because we're all made up of the 5 elements. All right, and when we're talking about astrology and in alchemy, and that just relates out to every type of Eastern philosophy, the whole area of Eastern philosophy. So we have to open our minds to all the different studies from the old world, even here in the Americas too, but that's another story. So all these old teachings that applies to our life today, that can bring us mental peace and physical well-being while we're alive. So when we're talking about air, we're talking about from the heart chakra, the throat chakra, and also the third eye. We go into ether for the crown and so on, but we will get to that last, after air, fire, and water. So when we're talking about air, we are talking about the element, the essence of life. We are breathing. Okay, this is what gives us life. Our prana, which is pranayama, which I'm going to talk about later when we're talking about yoga. In Chinese, it's the chi, and it's ki, and then you have life force energy, breathing, right? When we try to break it down into English, being that English is relatively a new language, so when you're breaking down prana, chi, ki, we're talking about the breath of life, the essence of life. Okay, and we need air to breathe. We need that as vital for our vital survival in life. Okay, and we need that in order to bring us life to live, but also to calm us when we need calming. So the most important thing in yoga when we're talking about air is breathing, and breathing to calm us down when we're in times of stress, okay, worry, or just to enjoy life a little bit better. But usually it's for stress management, and we now call it stress management, but really it should be a daily practice of waking up, taking a deep breath, and that moment before we jump out of bed is that moment to just realize, okay, I just woke up. Did I have any dreams? How does my body feel? So it's just checking in with the body when you wake up and being grateful that you woke up. All right, and for this part of yoga, whenever I teach, we always want to teach that fire breathing, or different kind of fancy breathing using our fingers, our thumb, our pointer finger, our middle finger, and to show that, hey, we really know what we're talking about, we studied, and that's all great. But for the beginner, it's just slowing down and breathing out your nose. Okay, so inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. And what I find is that deep breathing for someone that is out of shape, whether you can physically see it in the body as weight, and then for some people not having the weight, they're still physically out of shape, right? That cholesterol. So coming from a family and a medical background, I remember learning as a kid that just because a person is skinny doesn't mean that they're healthy. Okay, their cholesterol could be high and they don't know that, right? But we always judge by just looking at someone, and that's not always 100% the case. So even with a person that is obese or skinny, they could be sitting down in comfortable pose in yoga, and I'm like, take a deep breath, deep breathing, and they're lightheaded and they're dizzy, and then I would say, okay, breathe normally. As long as you're seated comfortably, and see, it's so cold I can't even talk. The cold, it's not even cold, it's just chilly for me. So even though they're sitting, it's still difficult for them to breathe deeply. They still feel lightheaded, out of breath. So I would just have them breathe normally as best as you can. So I'll ask them to take a normal breath. And I'll ask them to breathe normally. And this will be for like 3 minutes or 5 minutes. And whatever thoughts come to your mind, let them come, let them pass. It's part of like meditation. It will happen anyway. But we're not focusing on meditation. I just want you to sit there and breathe. And usually when you do that, you feel this tightness in your body, right? But first is the breath. So you're going to breathe. If you need to move, you move, right? But you just want to breathe normally. Now, I would ask them, let's try breathing deeply. Inhale through the nose. The belly gets nice and big. Exhale through the nose. You want to pull the navel in and let the air out nice and slow. Inhale through the nose. The chest will naturally rise. The belly gets nice and big. Exhale through the nose. Pull the navel in, but your chest will naturally lower. Inhale. Chest rise, then the belly expands. Exhale, the chest lowers, and you want to pull the navel in to let out all the air. And that's all you're doing, is just breathing deeply. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. All you're doing is deep breathing. And once you're breathing like that, and if it gets to be too much and you feel lightheaded, then practice normal breathing. But I would encourage you today to just sit there for 3 minutes. Time it on your other device, and just breathe. Okay, time it on your cell phone and breathe for 5 minutes normally. Okay, or 3 minutes to 5 minutes breathing normally. And then if you can practice deep breathing, you're just clearing out the lungs, bringing in fresh, new air into the lungs. So we have slow breathing, we have regular breathing, we have slow, deep breathing, and you can practice both of these to see how you feel. But the most important thing about this is that it's the first thing you do in the morning. You just lay there and you relax and you breathe. That's the first thing. And you can find gratitude in that breathing, okay, in that moment. Okay, so you want to also think about your heart chakra. So if you want a focusing point, you're thinking about your chest, right? And for the heart chakra, it's not where your heart technically is, the physical beating heart. It's the center of the chest, okay? And each time that you're breathing, when you inhale, you don't have to think of a color. If you want to think of a color, of course, it's green for the heart chakra, okay? Throat chakra is blue, right? The third eye is indigo, right? And the crown is purple as well, right? So you can think of the light shooting out from the chest, and it's a lot of colors to think about, so I don't like to overwhelm people with green and blue and indigo and purple shooting all the way up, and it's shooting forward and back 6 feet, right? But you can just imagine like clouds, like white, okay? And it's just expanding in front of you and expanding behind you, okay? And that's just your whole essence, okay? That's your essence just expanding, and that protective shield around you. So all cultures teach of that, okay? It's your ashe, okay? It means, and so it is, right? But it's also that essence of you, your spirit, your energy, your force, your life force, okay? So for West Africa, they call that your ashe. Okay, so, oh, the kid's grandpa's back with breakfast. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up this video. So this is your moment to sit and breathe and just be where you are, all right? So my spring break is spent doing something I love, which is talking about yoga, talking about spirituality, and also being with family. And yeah, so helping out as much as I can, because I've received help, so I know how to help others because I was shown how to be helpful. And whoever you have in your life, that breath of life, and this is all circling around, we have the breath of life, right? So what are we doing with this breath of life? March and April for me has been a lot of death, either from someone dying of old age, heart attack, fighting cancer for the second time, a good girlfriend of mine that lives up in the mountains in the Poconos. So hopefully I'll get to see her husband and child today. But this is about breath of life, and I'm going to talk about about that in the ether. But what are you doing with your breath of life? You should be. I'm not going to tell you what to do. What I'm doing is doing what I love and doing it more boldly and doing it my way, and helping me and helping people that love me. And I'm using my ashe, my breath of life, to be there for my friends and family and to be there for myself. So everyone in Vegas and wherever you are watching this video, how are you going to use your breath this week? Happy spring, and I'll see you guys next time. Namaste.